Good evening, everyone. This is Ahmed Al-Wasmi welcoming you to this special media coverage coming to you from Ktv2 studio to follow up on the main events and news about the Arab League summit that was concluded earlier in the day in Algeria. During our special show, we will be honored to host our distinguished guest, Jassim Qabazard, consultant engineer and businessman, to shed the light on the latest developments and updates about the 31st session of the Arab League Summit.
The Arab Summit in Algeria, critical circumstances, challenges and prospects, building bridges of cooperation, aspirations aimed at unifying joint Arab action and strengthening relations.
The 2022 Arab League Summit is a significant event during which the Arab leaders discussed a host of regional issues and challenges, as well as means of the solutions amid at the strengthening the Arab League march. The Arab League, officially the League of the Arab States, is a union of Arabic-speaking African Asian countries. It was formed in Cairo in 1945 to promote the independence, sovereignty affairs and interest of its member countries and observers. Before we proceed with our special episode, let us welcome our guest once again, Mr. Jassim Qabazard, as it is a pleasure to have you in this our special interview. Thank you, sir, for being with us.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for inviting me, and I wish you success with this program.
Thank you so much. First of all, starting the whole thing, the state of Kuwait is being represented by His Highness the Emir Sheikh Nawaf Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah. May Allah protect him. Mish'al Sumu Wali Al-Ahd, the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah. Could you tell us about the effectiveness of the participation in this Arab convention?
I believe the presence of Kuwait within the Arab community since the existence of politics in our area and region. Kuwait has always played the role of advocator of peace and security in the area and development, no doubt. And Kuwait has been known for its being effective in actually implementing these titles, these projects on a large scale. So it is anticipated that the presence of Kuwait will be an added value to this conference, matter of fact. And Kuwait has always been very clear and very transparent and very humanitarian way effective in helping the development in the region, especially in developing countries. Therefore, in short, I think it's believed that Kuwait is expected to really contribute and participate with its vast years of experience in politics in the area, especially that the challenges that are ahead of the Arab League during the coming years based on this meeting most likely is going to be very important and detrimental, and also it sets a roadmap for the future.
The statement of the state of Kuwait was delivered by the representative of His Highness the Emir, the Crown Prince, Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him. It was some kind of significant things that he mentioned. How do you read the statement? Anything that caught your eyes, something in familiarity, something like that?
Yes, there are the general, let's say, visions which are expected from the leaders in this conference, which Kuwait is abiding with and coming along. In particularly recently, the situation that let the Arab countries in a way be under tension because of external, let's say, influences and the absence of meetings for the almost 3 years during the COVID pandemic. And Kuwait, with other countries, did undergo some drawing back from being in contact with each other. I noticed in his statement that among the things he stressed, and I think are outstanding, is maintaining Arab unity and continuing to maintain Arab unity and to set aside disputes and go on the negotiation table and revert always to political solutions rather than military or any violence that is attached with it. Another thing, he stressed on the environmental impact of what's going on in the region, and he is calling for addressing this issue seriously and allowing all kinds of innovation, inventions, whatever you can do to upgrade the value of the environment, which has a direct impact on our economy, in our social life, and also on the political life. Another matter was the fight against terrorism. And this is a nightmare, actually, scenario for any country. Another item, which is the sovereignty of the governing states with respect to their neighbors. No interference in their internal politics. I believe these are the key issues. One more thing which you've added, I remember, pay attention to the younger generation. Don't let these disturbances which are happening, lack of security, lack of
because
stability.
These people are the leaders of the future.
Exactly. So he wants.
They are vital for our future.
Exactly. So we have to lay the grounds for a good future for them, which they can prospect and develop and live generously than living through fear and instability. And one last point. We are talking today now about food security, al-amn al-ghidai, food security. This is a very major, important issue.
And the whole world is suffering.
Suffering from it. And
because of the conflicts here and there in some other places.
Exactly.
Not to mention the starvation in Africa and everywhere
else. Yes. And not to mention also the current events in Europe.
That's correct.
The war which is going on. We have immediately felt the impact.
Everything is affecting the prices of the oil and everything else, the gas and everything. Yeah, the state of Kuwait has a multilateral depth, knowledge and experience stemming from its membership in various regional and the international organizations, including the Arab League. Now, this question here is kind of a little bit tricky. How do you evaluate the role of the state of Kuwait through the Arab initiatives and crucial decisions?
Yes, I think this has always been an easy job for our politicians, led by His Highness the Crown Prince and his predecessors. Kuwait always has been known as a state of moderation.
Hold the stick in the middle.
Not only that, bring the conflicting parties together. And they continue with this with strength and respect. And we have noticed that anytime there's conflict, whether it's within the region or outside the Arab region, the Kuwaiti mediation has always been welcomed and it has been effective. So that being an offspring of the events in Kuwait, Kuwait has maintained its relationship with its neighbors, close neighbors, and within the region and within the international community. And we saw that very clearly when Kuwait was under the occupation of Iraq, how respected, how respected Kuwait was in the United Nations. And they had our late Emir received a standing ovation. That did not come from nothing. It actually came from the strength of the Kuwaiti policy making within the regions and within the world during its lifetime. So it is actually something which Kuwait is standing out for, and it's maintaining this drive and it's maintaining its effectiveness, and it always talks about peace, communication, negotiation, dialogue, away from any kind of military or violent action, let's say.
Mr. Qabazard, your answer leads me to my following question. It's all about the effectiveness of the role of the summit as well as the Arab League.
Yes.
Now, how significant is the Arab Summit amid the current wave of the challenges and the changes that is happening all over the globe? Now, especially in the Middle East and the region. Now, how do you view this?
It is evident from the calls which has come out of the speech of this House Speaker, the President of the conference. He listed major points that needs to be addressed and seriously adopted and to be followed up. Following up is a major part of this conference. It's easy to come up with resolutions, you know, and economics.
You mean if you want to see how things are being done?
Exactly.
Not only theoretically,
Exactly.
you're talking about it all the time.
Exactly. And we all, in the Arab world, because of internal disputes and internal politics, we seem to digress from following a path of a vision which was, you know, set in the policies of the company, of the
and
governments.
also, if you want to mention something about setbacks, you have to rectify the situation and move on.
They talked a lot about reform in this conference as part of their agenda. There is political reform, and there is economical reform, and there is security reform. So that means that we are coming out of, let's say, a bad situation, let's say, or negative life that's been spreading in the Arab countries. So that's a reaction to a situation which we are living. And these are reading between the lines, actually. So economical reform, political reform, the food security, protecting the Arab solidarity and unity from within and from being affected from outside, as they called it, of being forced upon us. And these are very important messages which the chairman actually stressed upon. Now, naturally, the situation in Palestine also was a major issue that we have to try to bring peace into the region from this point of view.
Hold this thought, because we have to break away to give you just a breather and come back, because I have a lot more questions and we would like to take advantage of your presence in our studio.
My pleasure.
The Arab Summit in Algeria, critical circumstances, challenges and prospects, building bridges of cooperation, aspirations aimed at unifying joint Arab action and strengthening relations.
Our studio Ktv2, this is the Minister of Information, and once again we'd like to give a warm welcome to Mr. Jassim Qabazard, who is joining us from the beginning at tonight's go about the Summit League and what's exactly is going on and what about the significance. Sir, you were talking about elaborately about the situation in everywhere and the challenges and also the food securities and the intervention with other people's business and also the boundaries and etc. and something like that. So what about what do you expect to in the included the final communique of the Arab Summit?
I believe.
Any observation regarding this?
Yes, I think they all stressed, including His Highness the Emir, His Highness the Crown Prince. They all included and stressed upon the point that they should be serious about this, and they should really talk about creating dialogue between parties which have disputes among them. There was demanding the calls for resolving the situation in Libya and in Syria and in Yemen in particular. So, and the call for how to do it was through dialogue, through putting aside military intervention and using any kind of political solutions to do that. This was a general message that came out, as though they're saying we had enough fighting, there's enough bloodshed, let's sit on the table and resolve them. Especially that now it seems to be that the facts around the Arab unity is forcing the Arab community to stick together. You have to resolve your problems for two main reasons: that the Arab community is an integral part of this world, and that our economy affects international economy and vice versa. So we cannot act in unity on our own, unilaterally. So we have to coordinate. Plus, the implementation of the resolutions that are going to come out of this needs to be followed up. And His Highness the Crown Prince specifically requested the General Secretariat of the Arab League to address the issue of following up the implementation of these resolutions. In other words, let's get down to earth, let's do the work, and let's put aside our differences, and let's be practical about what we are confronting economically, food shortages. We're talking about the future of the generations in Kuwait and in the Arab world. So it is actually a genuine call, which you can feel from the leaders when they talk, to resolve our internal problems, let's put it this way, with a positive attitude. You know, set aside your disagreements, political disagreements, whatever you have, and protect yourself and provide something for now and for the future. Plus, we have to respect the international community, which is today very much in need of cooperation with the wealthy part of the world, which is the Arab world. And the Arab world has all wealth, it has human resources, it has brains, it has capabilities, and it is located geographically in the center of the world, whether it's on earth or whether it's by sea. So I believe the message is coming not only for the Arab nations, it's coming for the international races, to give them some comfort that the Arab League is working to the betterment of the world, the betterment of the humanity, the betterment of the maintaining and safeguarding the resources that are at our hand. So that's what I think the major goal, which I read between the lines from this conference and from the communique.
What about the population, the people? They have high expectation as well as the aspiration.
Yes.
Do you think that this particular summit
Yes.
is meeting their needs,
Yes.
meeting their goals, the future, their generation, their children, and their children's children?
Yes. It's true. It's actually been stated that we have to do any kind of reform to improve the life of the citizens of our countries. Hayat al-Shu'ub. It keeps coming up. So, and this is actually as a result of the, let's say, the social media is spreading its problems all over. So the leaders and the followers are in communication. So there's nothing hidden. Therefore, the leaders are being very pragmatic. They've been very honest in this meeting to show that whatever we're doing, we have the public is as in front of us, and we like to serve you and serve our country in the meantime. So I think the people should feel comfortable, one. Secondly, they will be more comfortable. Optimistic and be comfortable that the leaders are agreeing that they have to improve their lifestyle.
Livelihood
and lifestyle and future. Plus that there's a strong call for following up the implementation of the resolutions.
People sometimes they get impatient about that.
It's true.
They have to wait to see the result on the ground.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you about 3 minutes
Yes.
to take a breather, because we have a report regarding this matter. So you can drink your coffee or your water. Stay with us.
Arab leaders resumed their meeting today at the 31st Arab Summit, which started yesterday in Algiers. In public and closed working session, the leaders will discuss the adoption of draft resolution and the draft of Algiers declaration, the final text of which will be read at the conclusion of the summit. The representative of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jabir Al-Sabah, may God bless and protect him, His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mash'al Al-Ahmed Al-Jabir Al-Sabah, may God protect him, headed the delegation of the State of Kuwait. Yesterday evening, the inaugural session of the summit was concluded after a public session in which several issues were discussed, foremost of which is the promotion of joint Arab action, the Palestinian cause, and the most prominent current issues in the world. Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune stressed before the 31st Arab Summit that the Palestinian issue remains the core issue of the Arabs, adding that his country is looking forward to transferring the issue to the corridors of the United Nations in order to enable Palestine to obtain full membership in the organization. He referred to the Palestine issue by saying that it is being liquidated due to the dangerous Israeli occupation practices in the Palestinian territories, which are witnessing a dangerous escalation ranging from the expansion of settlement, the displacement of the Palestinian population from their homes, and the confiscation of their lands. In addition, the desecration of the country yards of Al-Aqsa Mosque and its repeated closures. President Tebboune called for renewing the Arab commitment to the Arab Peace Initiative launched at the 2002 Beirut Summit, stressing that it is the basic reference for any effort to establish peace in the Arab region. On a related note, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, stressed that the position of the United Nations on the Palestinian crisis is consistent and has not changed. In his speech at the opening of the 31st Arab Summit in Algeria, Guterres added that the Arab League is living in an exceptional circumstance in which conflicts and divisions have exacerbated, which has opened the doors for foreign interventions and the infiltration of terrorism. He explained that the time is now to achieve Arab unity, not divisions. The Secretary General of the League of Arab States, Ahmed Abul Ghaid, also said that the Arab Summit held in Algeria provides an opportunity to rearrange the Arab House and think of radical solutions to the problems afflicting the region. Abul Ghaid added that the Algeria Summit comes after a 3-year hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and its convening came at a time due to the changes and challenges that the world is facing, adding that the Arab region is at the heart of crisis as it is the first victim of climate change, including drought and others. At the end, Abul Ghaid warned of other dangers threatening the region, such as food security and the actions of its neighbors that would endanger its water security.
The Arab Summit in Algeria, critical circumstances, challenges and prospects, building bridges of cooperation, aspirations aimed at unifying joint Arab action and strengthening relations.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are still with us in this special edition regarding the summit which took place in Algeria. You're still with us here in our series, Mr. Jassim Qabazard, consultant engineer and businessman. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for being with us.
Welcome.
I believe you took a breather.
Yes.
And you drank your coffee, and now we will resume our questions. Ready for that?
Shoot.
We were talking earlier regarding the people and their aspirations, regarding their governments and their goals and desires, it's going to be met or not. Let us talk a little bit about the relationship between the countries within the framework of the summit and the Arab League. People, they have their own differences, and you mentioned earlier that we should not resort to military actions. We should sit together, round table, and dispute and also discuss our differences. Do you think this summit met these desires or not?
I believe yes. The leaders, when they spoke, they were in harmony with the agenda. First of all, they had laid an agenda with themselves, and they were
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
Yes,
That's all right.
and they were in harmony.
That's your microphone. That's all right.
Is
Just
it?
leave it.
Okay. They were in harmony with the points which the chairman raised at the time. And that shows that there is, let's say, an understanding, okay? Understanding between them, that these are the goals that we'd like to stick to. And the fact that they fairly were clear about admitting there are differences, admitting that there are conflicts, admitting
that's
that
the first step of the solution.
That's the step.
And the remedy.
Exactly. So in other words, the conference is telling the people, we raise our hands to what's the status quo is.
Okay.
This is the way things are.
Status quo.
Status quo.
The situation currently happening.
Okay. And we are going to address it, and we are all saying yes. We are not here to quarrel. All mentioned that we like to, cooperate and strengthen Arab solidarity and unity, and be aware of our own, let's say, issues that need to be addressed, and the international effect on us, and how we should react to the international with a positive view. This definitely will reciprocate in the public view that maybe this conference is coming closer to resolving issues. There are big issues, and there are many issues, and they're going to be priorities. I'm sure they're going to lay a list of priorities, which one to start with. But then I think that the public will be watching very carefully their governments. They will remind them, because they have them now on the iPhone. They have it on the smartphones. Nobody can say, I didn't say this. So this is going to be, I think, an issue where it will strengthen. Let alone, this is what's in the public, but most likely the heads of state, which have major problems with each other, on the side will have their own meetings, have their own agreements, and they will definitely will come to some conclusions. But I don't think it will be publicized.
No.
But at least it will create a positive environment of discussion and dialogue among them. And there will be mediators who will come and say, Mr. So-and-so, Your Excellency, let's get together and let's forget about this. Let's find better ways.
And always state of Kuwait in the lead of this mediation.
Exactly. And maybe some nations will request from some other leaders to act as mediators among them. So this is a golden opportunity to have a public image with careful and clear and transparent issues, and behind the scene communication between the heads of state to resolve any hidden issues which cannot be publicized, which is their right to have private discussions.
Mr. Qabazard, when you lay some kind of goals and aspiration and desires for you and for your people, you have to take some measurement and steps to achieve these goals.
Yes.
Do you think that this summit is doing the same things that you and I are going to, have some kind of desires to be achieved on the ground, not only rhetorically, not only by saying it?
Yes.
Do you think this is exactly what's going on?
This is what I expect. This is what I hope for. And I think I will be fairly close to what the public would like to also come along with us on this idea. I believe that committing a country to being party to a inter-countries relationship, to upgrade the values of your government, to upgrade the values of your development, to upgrade the values of the economy.
You mean to open the channels of communicating with each other?
With each other. That itself is a burden on the government, which the people will hold the government accountable to that. What did you do? Because the Arab nations are all interwoven. All nationalities are living with each other. So their countries are in contact with, let's say, with Kuwait, people who have come from Iraq, Jordan, Syria, name it, Saudi Arabia. These people living together, so when they...
You mean they have the same traditions and cultural?
Yeah, but I'm talking about their problems.
Their problems?
Yes, so this conference will bring them closer to each other, and they can discuss them face to face. This is one. The second one is that the leaders of each country, after this conference, are going to go back to their people and will have to show for what they did and how they are going to help develop their nations with the help of the other nations. In other words, bring in the positive side of cooperation, correlation with the international community. So the leader will have to play two roles. One, maintain the relationships of Kuwait with the international community, with the with the regional community, and to maintain a good relationship with its people. I believe there are lots of commitments mentioned here, lots of issues which
from the leaders
in this conference, which has direct effect, direct impact on everyday life of the citizens of these nations. So I believe that this conference is a very realistic conference. It's not talking in the clouds. It's not talking unrealistic ideas and theories. They are first, as we mentioned earlier, they are first identifying their problems
and rectifying it,
and say we are going to rectify this, and think of the future. So it's not going to be busy just rectifying your problem. In the meantime, you have to set a roadmap for the future.
Hopes and ambitions.
Exactly.
Mr. Qabazard, always a pleasure to have you here in our studio.
My pleasure.
Looking forward to meet you once again.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. I wish you the best.
Our pleasure. That was our special interview with the distinguished Kuwaiti figure who played a key role in his domain as a consultant, engineer, and businessman, Mr. Jassim Qabazard. Thank you so much. You are still with us on KTV2. The entertainment will continue right after this. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'll see you once again maybe tomorrow. Bye-bye.